Ma Bharati ki Jai. This report is based on an article published in Daily Brief USA on the 29th of October 2021. An FBI raid in Annandale, Virginia led to the discovery of a 30-year plan by Muslim Brotherhood to destroy America from within. Agents discovered disturbing documents containing blueprints for turning USA into a Muslim nation. The steps discovered in this plan are being used in many countries worldwide, including India. 27 years ago, Yusuf al-Qaradwai, the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood, traveled to America to organize Muslims across America, educating them with his plan for a complete takeover of the US that would take approximately 30 years to complete. It included a key tactic known as Muruna, where Muslims use taqiyya in order to deceive the local population into believing that they are just like them. The newspaper calls this tactic, and I quote, just like an Ebola virus. Muruna is extremely effective as Muslims are now able to seamlessly integrate into every facet of our society. Unquote. The Muruna tactic is a 5-step process. Let's examine each of these steps and also find whether they are being used in India and how far is India from being converted into an Islamic country called Khorasan. In step 1, Muslims discreetly and secretly establish leadership through Islamic institutions and political parties. Upon Googling, I found 40 such Islamic organizations and 17 political parties listed on Wikipedia. Many of these have been actively working before and after partition. I'm certain that there are many more such organizations operating in India, which are working discreetly and secretly as described in the toolkit, which means that they have successfully completed step 1 of the 5 steps in their toolkit in India. In step 2, Muslims are required to gradually appear on the public scene and infiltrate various sectors of the government. In addition, they are required to build mosques, religious institutions, and raise senior Islamic scholars. Also work on gaining public support and sympathy, as well as establish a shadow government within the government. As per Wikipedia, there are 300,000 active mosques in India. And we all know that out of those 300,000 mosques, tens of thousands were built upon temples which were broken. India has the 3rd largest population of Muslims in the world. Wikipedia lists 118 Islamic scholars, but certainly there are plenty more such scholars. Who regularly appear on debates on TV channels, and they use their loud voices to beat down the other participants. And then there are many intellectuals on the social media platforms who keep talking about intolerance and apologize for Islam and jihadis. They play the victim card. Finally, establishing a shadow government within the government. We have had Muslims in very prominent positions in the government, judiciary, and civil services, and their hidden agendas have been exposed from time to time, which means that they have successfully completed step 2 of the 5 steps in their toolkit in India. The third step is escalating tensions by using mass media. They play the victim card at the drop of a hat. They use universities and colleges like the infamous JNU for anti-establishment, anti-Hindu and anti-India activities, and also use social media to spread fake news to instigate riots during Hindu festivals and protest against the government for frivolous reasons, which means that they have successfully completed step 3 of the 5 steps in their toolkit in India. The 4th step, open public confrontation with the government through exercising the political pressure approach and stockpiling weapons in anticipation of 0 hour. The prime example of such confrontation with the government is Shaheen Bagh protest against the CAA, NRC, NPR, and also the ongoing farmers' protest, which we know is being secretly funded by anti-India and anti-Hindu powers. News of weapons and bombs being found in madrasas and mosques across India have become commonplace, which means that they have successfully completed step 4 of the 5 steps in their toolkit in India. The 5th step and the final step is seizing power to establish an Islamic nation of Khorasan, under which all parties and Islamic groups are united. Constitution and democracy is replaced with Sharia. We have seen Taliban has already taken over Afghanistan.
Meanwhile, a new report says that Pakistan will be the first target of the ISIS Khorasan.
And most certainly will soon take over Pakistan, the only Islamic country possessing nuclear weapons. Taliban has put into motion their plan for Ghazwa-e-Hind. We have seen increasing number of rioting in which Hindu temples were destroyed, Hindus were killed, women were raped, and Hindu businesses were set on fire. Such incidents have now become everyday practice in Pakistan, Bangladesh, and also within India. Riots which are deliberately instigated by spreading fake news or by desecrating their own holy book themselves and blaming Hindus for it. Which means that the 5th and the final step in their toolkit is underway in India. And soon India will turn into Khorasan. Our political leadership has woefully remained inept into detecting and controlling this menace. On the contrary, they have been shouting from the towers, "Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas." We have already run out of time. It is quite apparent that not just this government, but any democratically elected government will not be able to stop India from becoming Khorasan. Now that we know the truth, there is no longer any excuse to allow this to happen. It is our duty to protect our families and the future of our coming generations. And most importantly, to protect Sanatan Dharma. We may still have a chance to stop India from becoming Khorasan. And only the Indian military can help us turn this around, or our coming generations will be offering namaz. I beg Indian military to take control of the nation for 10 years to help establish meritocracy. We might still have a very small chance to succeed. Please, for God's sake, stop being like Bhishma Pitama, who is helplessly watching Draupadi being disrobed. Our future generations will never forgive us for not acting when there was still time. I beg all Hindus to spread this message on every social media platform. I also request you to join in our struggle for the creation of a Dharma Rashtra. Fight together or you will die alone. माँ भारती की जय.